Well, good morning, everyone. Hope you are enjoying this wonderful winter weekend. Today, we're going to learn about the Good Samaritan. A clever man thought he knew all the rules for living in God's way. Asked Jesus a question. He wanted to see if he could trick Jesus into giving the wrong answer. Teacher, he said, what must I do to live forever with God? Jesus asked another question. What did the commandments say? The man answered, the commandments say you should love God with everything you had, and you should love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. Jesus replied, that's right answer. Live like this and you'll live with God forever. So Jesus, the man continued, who is my neighbor? Jesus answered the question with a story. A man was traveling down a scary, rocky road, all by himself. All of a sudden, a group of men jumped out. They stole his money and hurt him, leaving him by the side of the road. He moaned and groaned in pain. He couldn't get up. A little while later, a priest was going down the road. He saw the hurt man and passed him on the opposite side of the road. Later, another man came along and passed on the other side of the road too. When the Samaritan came along and saw that the man was hurt, he stopped to help him. A tear ran down the Samaritan's cheek as he bent down to help the man. He put bandages on the man's cut. The Samaritan huffed and puffed as he tried to lift the man onto the donkey. He took the man to the nearest inn and put him in a room. He took care of him there for the rest of the day. The next day, the Samaritan had to leave for a few days. He paid the innkeeper to take care of the hurt man. The Samaritan promised to return and pay the innkeeper any more money that was needed to care for the man. He wanted the man to get better. After Jesus finished the story, he asked a clever question. Which of these three men was the neighbor to the man who was hurt? The man replied, the one who stopped to help him. Jesus told him, God wants us to help everyone, people of every size, shape, and color, in every country are important to God. Now go and be like the Samaritan and help everyone who needs help. And you guys can be a good Samaritan too. You can think about it. If you're at school and you see somebody that needs help, go get your teacher. If you're at home, get your parents' help. So like here, they'll get your teachers here. So that is the way all of you can be a good Samaritan. Well, good morning again, and today we're going to learn about when Jesus goes to the home of Mary and Martha. Jesus and his disciples were traveling. Along the way, Jesus decided they would visit their friends, Mary and Martha. Mary and Martha were sisters. They lived in a house together. They got along very well most of the time at least. When Jesus visited with them, Mary sat on the floor and listened to Jesus teach. Martha, on the other hand, was very busy. She didn't have time to sit down. She cooked olives, fish, and bread. She cleaned, sweeping the dirt floor and shaking the mats. Martha worked hard to make Jesus' visit special. As she hurried around, she saw Mary sitting down with Jesus. She thought, why doesn't she help me with the cleaning? A few minutes later, Mary was still sitting as Martha worked. Martha got a little angry. Ahem! And she cleared her throat, thinking, Mary could at least help me get the meal ready. All these people to feed, and she isn't helping me one little bit. Martha continued hurrying around, getting angrier by the minute. As she swept, she thought, Grr! Mary knows how to use a broom. And she cooked, and she said to herself, I think my sister should at least stir this pot. and she got water and towels ready for cleaning Jesus' hands, and she grumbled to herself, "Grr, all this company and I'm doing all the work myself." Finally, when she was still working and Mary was still sitting, Martha couldn't take it anymore. She burst into the room and interrupted what Jesus was saying, put her hands on her hips, and said angrily, "Mary, please get up and help me." She looked out at Jesus. "Jesus, please tell Mary to get up and do something." Jesus stopped what he was doing. Everything was quiet for a moment. Finally, Jesus looked at Martha with love and said, "Martha, Martha, you are worried about every little thing. Thank you for your work you do to make my visit comfortable. But you do not need to worry about all those things. Mary has decided to sit and listen to me, and that is a good decision." Martha thought to herself, maybe I should just sit down and listen to what Jesus has to say, at least for a minute. Maybe Mary has a good idea. So she sat and listened, and that was a good decision. And I think that made, when you listen to somebody, that makes them feel important. And so maybe that's what Jesus was saying, that it's most important to listen to him and what he had to say. So one of my favorite families is the Berenstain Bears. And today we're going to learn about love is kind. The members of the Bear family usually had fun together. They had fun going places together. They had fun doing things together. They had fun just sitting around and doing nothing together. Phooey. But lately, they didn't seem to have much fun at all. Somehow, fun had given way to fussing, feuding, and squabbling. Words like please, thank you, and excuse me were given word to ways like oh yeah, and gee whiz, and phooey. Instead of the fun family, they were becoming the fussy family. It wasn't clear why this was happening. Maybe the members of the Bear family all woke up one morning with sore heads. Perhaps it was because the fast pace of modern life, or perhaps it was just one of those things. But whatever reason, it was clear that things were going wrong in the big tree house down the sunny dirt road deep in bear country. It was certainly clear to Mama Bluebird, who nestled on the treehouse branch, there was something growling and door banging, and that it woke up her babies. It was clear that the Bear family's pet goldfish. She had put her fins over her ears to shut out the squabbling. Even the old carved owl lamp in the living room was beginning to look worried about the goings-on. The Bear family neighbors didn't know what to think. "Tis, tis," said Mrs. Squirrel. "You would think they'd at least keep their windows closed." "My goodness," said Mr. Bunny. "They used to be such a nice family." "Such language," said Mr. Frog. "What do you suppose has gone wrong?" Then one day the Bear family had a visitor. It was wise old Grizzly Gran. She had heard about the trouble at the treehouse and was bringing the bears a gift. Gran rang the doorbell, but the fussing Bear family didn't hear her ring. She knocked with the knocker, but the squabbling Bear family didn't hear her knock. It wasn't until Gran rang the doorbell, knocked the knocker, and shouted all at the same time that anyone came to the door. "Why, it's Gran," said Mama. "Won't you come in?" "Thank you," said Gran. Sorry about the shouting and excuse me for interrupting, but I brought you a gift. Will you please accept it? Gran's words hung in the air. Thank you, sorry, excuse me, and please were words the Bear family had almost forgotten about. The Bears opened the gift. It was a sampler, a beautifully framed sampler Gran had stitched. What it looked like, this is what it looked like, and this is what it said. Love is patient and kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. That's 1 Corinthians 13:4, a Bible verse. This is to remind all of you about the importance of politeness in a loving family, said Gran. The Bear family was touched. Thank you, said Papa. Please sit down, Gran, said Sister. Sorry about not coming to the door more quickly, said Brother. Excuse me while I make a pot of tea, said Mama. Gran was pleased that her plan to remind the family about the importance of politeness was working. They were the fun family again, not the fussy family. Best of all, they were a loving family. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians 13:13.